My name is Colt Sedbrook, and this is LED 512 Organizational Change with Dr. James Ruffin. This is session 5. I chose the option of integrating community-wide social change for youth development. I chose starting off with my biblical perspective, dealing with change. It comes from Jeremiah. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Through change, we can use our biblical perspective and we can bring in our Christian worldview with dealing with these types of changes. These types of changes have all various types of ordeals, whether it's problems or whether it's challenges that may face, whether it's for leaders or for the followers, or for instance, in this case, for the youth and for the community members itself. I chose to get my thesis. The premier way of leading and integrating community-wide social change for youth development is to assess the current state of youth development, address the challenges for youth development and social change, implement the mechanism and methods provided by the study of organizational behavior, identify the individuals that are change agents so that they can align with the strategic mission and objectives, and identify community interventions and policies that help community members cope with the stress. Some of the main key points that I thought was assessing the current state of the youth development. So we can really look at an outside consultant with the organizational development expertise that is able to come into our community and take a look at the current youth development programs that are developed in the area, whether they're good, whether they're bad, whether we need to keep them, or there's things that we can do to bring more attention to those programs. We can also have intervention techniques like Scandura. It talks about the appreciative inquiry, AI. That's a solution that can bring it in as well. We can talk about the current types of leaders that are in the community, whether it's the mayor of the community, school district superintendent, church leaders, and then youth development teachers and coaches. We need to also look at what kind of challenges are we going to be facing when we're into this integration, especially when it comes to the community and social change. We need to look at the problems that arise when challenges seem daunting and unrealistic for those members, whether it's followers, whether it's the youth itself, trying to come to an understanding of what programs are necessary for them to equip them and empower them for change and development. We can also talk about the mixed attitudes and emotions or the uncertainty to change. We can talk about addressing the problems or the challenges that it comes with funding these youth development programs, especially when it comes to a community of low socioeconomic status, looking to find stakeholders that are able to come in and provide funding for these programs. And we also need to look at our management styles. Are we able to have effective communication that are allowed to talk about the vision and values of these programs? We need to look at the next facet I thought was important was implementing organizational behavior theories. Some of the models that I used was from Lewin's 3-step model and Kotter's 8-step model. I felt like these models were great ways to implement change, and it was a great tactic that we could use when we're trying to integrate a community-wide social change for this youth development. We also need to look at the identifying change agents. So what type of leaders and what type of leadership styles do they have? I felt like the best leadership styles were the transformational leadership rather than transactional. And I felt like ethical and a combination of servant and authentic leadership would be the best and probably be the most successful for these ones to achieve productivity and overall satisfaction for the next generation. We also need to look at the community interventions when dealing with this change. A lot of individuals that come with change bring stress and anxiety. We need to think about how we can bring support programs for those community members that are helping out with these community programs, that are helping these youth develop into the next generation that's going to be leading our countries or our world. We can look at providing strategies for these coping mechanisms, whether it's simply having intervention or having the ability to get feedback and giving them the strategies that allow them to deal with their stressors. And as leaders, we need to understand that we need to be able to anticipate some of these triggers or the stress within our community. And I really do appreciate this opportunity to have this class, LED 512, organization and organizational change, and these are some of my references. Thank you for your time.